Hello, everyone. I am going to go over the Puppet tool for this tutorial. So the Puppet tool is located right up here, if you can see this, right? And if you open this up, right, you can see that the Puppet tool is actually these five tools. We have the Puppet Position Pin tool, the Puppet Starch Pin tool, the Puppet Bend Pin tool, the Puppet Advance Pin tool, and the Puppet Overlap Pin tool. And by the end of all these tutorials, we will go over all of these, right? But just basically, I'm going to show you what the Puppet tool does. I am going to go ahead and select the Puppet Position tool pin, which is the top pin. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add pretty much where I want this fish to bend, right? So I can say, I don't know, maybe right here at the neck, maybe somewhere here in the middle, and maybe here at the tail, right? So what I can do now is that when I put these pins down, I now have under effects something called Puppet. And I have this mesh 1 that I'm dealing with, right? Density and expansion. And then I have deform where I have pins 1 through 3, which I put in that order. And then if we open up these, you can say we have the pin type. And then if we twirl open this, we can see that this is actually position right here. And there's a keyframe. In fact, there's a keyframe for each one of these. If we select the mesh and we hit U, letter U, that's just going to open up the positions here, the pins that we have there. As you can see, there's a keyframe for all of it that drops it there. All right. So what can we do with this? Well, check this out. While on the pin tool, we can actually move the position. As you can see, it actually starts to animate. Now we can do some crazy things like making it grow or doing something out of the ordinary with it if we wanted to. But I don't want to do that. In fact, I want to try and keep it as realistic as possible. Showing the mesh is a good thing, right? Now, when we have the mesh here, right, we have expansion and density up here as well, right, which are the same things that are here under here, right? Except it's just different ways of doing this, right? And sometimes we want to expand. Right now, everything's covered, but sometimes in drawings, not everything gets covered, right? Especially if you have a black outline around something, which a lot of these characters do. In that case, you're going to have to expand that a little bit, right? And density is if we need to have it stretch more, deform more than what we have here, right? So just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple more Puppet tools in here, right? As far as this original tool goes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to animate this. So I'm going to go to, let's say, 12 frames. I'm working a 24 frame timeline. And I can do something where I move the fish's tails like this. Maybe I have it swimming like this, right? Maybe his head goes down a bit. I don't know, maybe it goes up. I don't know how fish swim, something like that, right? So basically, this is what the fish is doing, right? So that is the animation that we have there. Here we can take off this mesh right there so we can actually see this fish swimming. Okay, now what I can do is I can go ahead and I can open up all of these and get the keyframes, and I can go ahead and grab these, do a Command C, copy, paste, right? And because I did it so it's the full rotation within a second, I can just go for the entire thing and do this. So I now quickly have this fish looking like it's swimming, more or less. Right? So now, because I have the puppet tool here, I can actually go ahead and use basic transformation and animate this fish swimming from one side of the screen to the next. There we go. All right, now keep in mind this is a file with an alpha channel, right? If I had the fish with a background, the background would be warping at the same time. So when preparing an image to animate with a puppet tool, you have to make sure that it has an alpha channel, that everything is cut out around it, or else it's going to warp everything, right? Okay, great. So this is the introduction to the puppet tool. Now, This right here isn't necessarily the best way to animate just using the puppet position tool. I am going to go over these other tools in greater detail within the next videos.